Hello and welcome back to the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, otherwise known as Phoenix Wright Revisited. Last time, remember, we got through the final day of investigation in episode 5 of the special case, and now we are going into the final day of this case as we head into part 1 of the final day trial, already in progress. Getting my notes in order. February 25th. 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. This is the Defendant Lobby. Alright. But there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It all seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth! Knowing you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number that is? Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who figured it out. The only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. One moment. I had to cut off Discord because I didn't want anything to actually come in between the recording. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True. Not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for ruling. 5 minutes, right? And Chief Prosecutor Sky will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid! Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. See you, Reggie. I'll see you in court. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief God has on her, it's now. So we go into court, which is February 25th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 9. Court is now in session for the trial, Miss Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Morning, folks! How's everyone doing? Hey, Uchi, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Ho, 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 ho! That's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, what... If you don't mind me asking, Chief, what is... I've been doing script readings. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? He has the power to make everything freeze in time. Lana. That is to say, the defendant has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. Kind of makes sense, though. We heard it from everybody except the defendant herself. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh?
I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman. In the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office.
No, Lana! Ignorari! You can't! Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense plea.
In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services.
But Lana!
Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me. But it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please.
Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. The court finds the defendant. Ikki-Ari! Really do. One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Jules, the prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut? I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gallant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Randy.
I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Or to whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mateo! Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Scott. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Well, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. And now then, witness. Please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma. My name is Emma. Emma Skye. My occupation, I'm Lana's sister, and I want to be my occupation, I'm Lana's sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dock of the Joe Dock killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Ruderman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes. It most certainly is. Well, okay then. This should be rehearsed. Now, please, testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. bound to lead to the truth behind this trial.
Two years ago.
Again, writing my notes. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
It's a good thing you weren't harmed.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder?
That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to order him for his courage, considering he has no evidence.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
Da-da-da.
What was the prosecutor doing there?
That day, there were two people present during Doc's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Guns and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about that. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Doc. When Doc grabbed me, I fell stupid. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. I don't clearly remember what happened then, but
Can you tell us about this?
Substantial jumped on Dark just then the lights went out.
Lights?
It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby.
So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right?
Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind.
I see.
I told the detective about what I saw then.
The detective?
Yes. Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case.
Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Hear more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago.
Yes. That's what's so scary about this trial.
And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw.
Yes, but at the time the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough about that picture? The picture the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that amended by saying,
I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost.
it was never lost. Yari! Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet, you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that, as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence is for the SO9 incident. Please, turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over. Turn it. Oh! What's this? Yes. What is that?
Hey! That's it, that's the pitch retro!
Indeed. Two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Oh. These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together as one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Hold on! Hold on! But, Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor! Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head! If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite considerable. Mr. Edgeworth, it's possible. Is something wrong?
Do we even have that?
Sorry, Your Honor. there is indeed something drawn on the back of my ears. It's that thing!
What thing?
Oh God, it's that thing. Oh no, it's coming back again. That bastard! The blue bastard! That's that thing! That thing that was dancing in the evidence room! Yeah, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives.
I guess he was out of scrap paper.
The blue bastard strikes again. Evidence list restored and updated. Can we please cut that off, please? Thank you. Very well. Witness, will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago?
Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor.
What's wrong with her? She seems to be thinking about something when she was looking at that picture. About that picture.
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in an instant.
To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to see. Thanks to that, though, she's here to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. There's only one statement here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Autopsy report. Stabbed in back, died from punctured heart and lungs. Knife tip was in the wound. Dear. Oh dear. No. Iggy! I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction.
What? But I still remember it, just like it was yesterday.
Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointing out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? I can tell you right here. You see this right here? See, look at that, right there. The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright.
But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too.
If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body.
It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dack was the murderer.
No, sweetie. No. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. Yes, Reggie.
And well, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem?
It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a stab wound in the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does this mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness' memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time.
but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already about a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Smell like chipped beef. Order! 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 Are you saying the investigation really was corrupt? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the evidence that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been? There's another one. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright? In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife.
assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife? If so, please feel free to enlighten us. A murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the award ceremony. I'm saying it. This is a picture of the award ceremony. Oh! What is it, Miss Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon! Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Order! 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 Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be! Oh. And why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutor's award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! But the prosecutor was the one who actually died! That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been
a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Matthew! Alright, I remember now.
Your throat game. You're okay. Witness?
Mr. Edgeworth.
What is it?
Could you show me your evidence list again, please?
Is this the one with that picture scribbled on the back?
I knew it. This picture, I'm the one who drew it.
What?
You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture.
Oh no. It's the evil ice cream truck.
All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me.
Well, you are a virgin, dear, so perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness testimony. Would you please tell us what you recall, Miss Sky? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a short recess and I shall be right back. One moment. Boy, that was so tense. It made me have to go take a recess. Would you please tell us what you recall, Miss Sky?
Yes, Your Honor.
First, the knife mix up, and now the blood bastard.
Oh, this should be interesting.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. he wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw a shadow.
This is certainly most unusual.
Objection!
Yes, Reggie. Try impossible! The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year.
Please kill me. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago.
Yes, well, the defense may not... Yes.
Stop. Please! Don't pursue this any further!
Well, what the hell's your problem, girl? Lana! What's the meaning of this? Please, remain seated in the defendant's chair.
But you can't do this! I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that?
Chief Prosecutor Sky. What the fuck's your problem? We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. So we finally get a recollection of what's going on, and there's only one thing to point out with this one.
Why was that blue bastard there?
We shall find out. I'm in the room, but I'm sure I saw a shadow.
His shadow. Please kill me.
So, you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That winning smile that says, please kill me.
That's right. But I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns.
Objection!
This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken.
Objection!
That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. And I suppose you have an explanation?
If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger, really? I just might know. The blue badger hadn't even been trimmed up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright? In this room. Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please, show us this mysterious blue badger look-alike. Well, this right here. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's exactly what is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright! That doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed, it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Viewpoint. Oh god, it's the ice cream truck again. I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. Well, you have to see it from this angle. Now, I'm looking at the blue badger, right? If I were to do so, the only thing you would have to do is you would have to turn it upside down. Like so. I'm going to rotate it a tiny bit. Should look something if I'm not mistaken, and I'm pretty sure it's not, it should look like this. see. It should be like this. Upside down. Angle the jar. The small end facing away. Facing away and wearing all the ends and small end form the shape of the badger. Because it would have to look like this if I'm looking at it right. If I'm looking at it like this. So let me see, I'm looking at it like this. Because if you were looking at it, there's the ears. You rotate it upward. You see the head. You see the jester's head. It should look like that. This isn't right. I've got to make it look more like a badger. Because I'm looking at it like the head's like this way. Allow me to remind the defense, its case hinges on the witness drawing. If Mr. Wright can't match the shape the witness drew, we cannot accept his claim. I've got to find just the right angle. Maybe I should rotate it vertically a bit more horizontally. Okay. Now, what's funny is I'm trying to remember this. I'm trying to remember this from way back when I played it on my DS. So let's see. The blood stains right there. If this don't look right, I'm going to have to consult a video on this. Because I am actually looking at this from the way I should see it. Small end facing away. You know what? Give me a few seconds. I'm actually going to see how it's supposed to look. One moment. Okay, so it would have to look like this. Face down, upside down, but face up. Well, is this a miracle or what? Blue Badger ice cream. No one can possibly deny this jar resemblance to the Blue Badger.
Please, Kobe. Please, buy my ice cream. Please, Kobe.
It can't be! Order! Order! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious Blue Badger witness on the day of the crime was actually this?
Objection!
Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point?
What do you mean?
So that badger thing was actually just a jaw. That doesn't change anything.
Man, we don't have to go out after this stuff. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edward. You see, this changes everything.
Indeed.
What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? The location. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Well, the location of the jar is shown in the picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant.
Objection!
But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testifies so herself.
Objection!
Yes. And it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office.
Objection!
Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. There's a reason, dude. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what the reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. Quit now. Please, recall the witness testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now, tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, What would he have hit? The suit of armor! Holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes, even though that's a lance, but yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have to have been Neil Marshall wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes. There is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility. Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with it. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place after the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Arthur killed him. We're just gonna go with that. Arthur killed him. There you go. Pardon me, but it had to come out. You mean someone farted? I mean, Mr. Marshall died because of me? And she fainted. Someone get some smelling sauce, please. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So, it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. Ain't it though?
Security! What are you saying?
I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances.
Joe Dock murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was him? How dare you try to pin the crime on her?
Imagine that's coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it?
I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me. Do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall?
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet you don't.
Yes. It certainly would be difficult to prove this. It certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony.
I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead.
We certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Ho, ho, ho. I think I know where he's getting at. Come on, spill, bro. Touche, Miss Sky. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Miss Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another.
That's impossible!
Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to the court record. I don't have to think back to the court record. I already know. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind is in the evidence. This message from the deceased is already in our possession.
Mr. Wright! Will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer?
not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek: the truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. Yeah, I got it right here for you, Chief. It's this bad boy right here. Like I said, I can already read it. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right?
Oh, is he going to speak? Oh, is he going to just speak the killer's name?
If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone forgot this is just a jar. A message was left here on the surface of this jar. And I'm looking at it. What do you mean? I'm looking at it, man. I'm telling you, I'm looking at it. If you look closely, you can see a faint trace of blood on this jar. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there is a line here, drawn in blood. So, what you're saying is these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the line changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points. And the victim's message will become apparent.
No.
Like I said, I know this. I already know it. I can read it. I can read between the lines. Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. I've got to connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim would have written, given the circumstances. His murderer's name. Because I'm already looking at it. Start with this right here. This
right here. I told you, I already know. This to this. This to this. This to this. This to this. There you go. There you go, right there. Bam. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why I've been thinking about that's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all, my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So, this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. I think what I'm gonna try to do is do two parts and leave the final part as a stopping point. All people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Sky. Say what? Guess I didn't warn you. She's gone. Do you understand that the implications of what you've done? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dock was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used false evidence to ensure his conviction.
Objection!
This was the straw that broke the camel's back.
But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable.
I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice? What? We're merely keepers of the law. Defenders of justice would be tokusatsu and common riders. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any comparable evidence for it. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. Oh shit.
At the prosecutor's office! Damn it, they've been implemented up. How can they just sit there and fight them?
Order! 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 Order!
Oh, what you guys bitching about? They did that to Jesus. Shut up. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is heading, or where this trial is headed, no one knows. Oh yeah, that's definitely that's definitely a to be continued. All right. So what I'm actually gonna do after all this, because good Lord Almighty, good Lord Almighty, I'm looking at what we got left. Oh, good Lord. I'm definitely stopping here, and the next part. Now I can't say I'm going to do this immediately, because 2 hours is pretty much enough for one video, and these parts are quite long. So I'm not going to do an all-nighter for this, but next time, and I do mean next time. Oh, you think it's hot now? We're going to be sweating bullets in the second part of the final day of this trial. So I'm stopping here. Dropping the save right here to where we overwrite this. And then in the next part, the trial ladder. So stay tuned. we reach the trial ladder in the next part right after this. Thanks so much for watching.